everyone, this is Riding with Rob. Today we're talking about computer chips and whether or not these chips actually work for your car. Now, if you've ever been on the internet looking for any type of tuning solution, I'm sure you've run across a specific computer chip that's advertised for your specific vehicle. Now, there are literally hundreds of thousands of these things out there. And you'll see all across all the forums and everything, there's a big debate on whether or not it's worth the money to buy them, which they range from between, $50 to $100. And then also, whether or not they do anything that they promise to do. Now, a lot of people say no, there's no way it's going to do anything for your car, because why wouldn't the auto manufacturer already put that in the car if that was going to give it better horsepower and better gas mileage? Well, and then you'll also hear people, well, how can you get more horsepower and more gas mileage? That also doesn't make sense. So, there's a lot of confusion about computer chips out there, and also a lot of confusion as to what they do and why they would actually work. So, now anytime I've ever talked about performance parts and, considering buying certain things, I always say make sure you research the company and research the part that you're buying. It's extremely important you do that with computer chips. If you've never heard of the company before, probably don't buy their part. If you call them up and you ask them, why should I buy your chip over this other chip, and they don't have a decent answer for you, then, probably don't buy that part either, okay? Your engine computer is a very sophisticated thing. And, putting a no-name part on your car is probably not a good idea. You want to stick with name brand companies when it comes to computer stuff, especially. Yeah, maybe you can get away with those, generic cold air intakes and generic exhaust. But when it comes down to a computer part, that needs to be precise. It needs to be very, very, very precise, okay? So, what exactly do computer chips do? Now, the majority of these wire-in computer chips that are that you'll find for that kind of price range, what they do is they interrupt the signal from your mass airflow sensor to your engine's computer. Okay, and depending on the airspeed that your mass airflow sensor is reading, it's going to modify that signal that's getting sent to the computer. It's either going to multiply that signal, or it's going to divide that signal down so it's lesser, to make the engine computer do different things. So at wide open throttle, your mass airflow sensor is reading, say 90% duty cycle, which is, how they measure how much air stuff's going through there, that sort of thing. And what that chip's going to do is it's going to modify the signal to say, no, 150%. So your engine computer will run a more aggressive map for the fuel, and basically it's going to add more fuel to the car. Now, what do I say when I mean maps? Now, all engine computers have maps in them, and what this map is it's a map out of what kind of fuel to air ratio you can get depending on all the signals going into your computer. Now, it's going to take into account your RPM, your mass airflow signal. It's going to take into account your O2 sensors and all that kind of stuff. It's going to measure everything, and it's going to, it comes up with a map, and it makes your car run as best as possible. Now, why wouldn't the auto manufacturer just, automatically have something like that on their car? If it does all this special stuff? Well, because auto manufacturers don't make cars specifically for performance needs. Now, they do have performance cars out there, but come on, let's think about this. They make a mass-produced car where there's literally hundreds of thousands of these things out there with different people driving them, and there's all different kinds of gas out there as well. Maybe you're a high-performance minded person, and you put premium gas in your car. That's going to change your stock computer map to a degree. Say you're a person that doesn't really get the whole different octane gas thing, let's just put the cheap gas in there. It's going to change the computer map for you, which is why no car is ever equal. Plain and simple. Because there's a variation in every car and how it's built, however slight it may be. And, the driver and the person maintaining the car is different for every car as well. So, all these things factor in and affect the car, and that's what manufacturers do with their computers, is they make sure that the computer can handle all these different situations, not just a performance situation. So when you put a computer chip in there, it's modifying signals and telling your stock computer that, hey, we want a performance-minded map. You're going to get more horsepower out of it. Now, when you're not pedal to the metal and stuff like that, some of these computer chips will actually modify the airflow signals so the car gets less fuel and is reading less air. So that way you actually end up getting better gas mileage. As silly as it may sound, it's actually true. Now, other ones don't do that at all. Other ones simply modify the airflow signal so it reads more airflow and therefore gives it more fuel. Now, how does this save you gas mileage? Well, really it doesn't. However, as a driver, it's going to produce more power with less pedal pressure. Therefore, you can, merge on the highway. So, therefore, you may not have to put the pedal all the way to the floor to merge onto the highway like I just did. Or, accelerate from your normal stop and go situations with less pedal and therefore saving you more gas. But that's more of a driver-oriented thing. So, all in all, computer chips do work. Now, if you are looking to tune your car, or you want a little bit more performance out of your car, and you have a small budget, getting a wiring computer chip is okay. You're not going to see massive gains from it, and you may not even actually feel the gains that you are getting from it, but it will help your car as far as performance goes. Now, these chips also work really well with your basic bolt-on cold air intake and things like that, because it's going to read the more airflow and even give it even more airflow. So, airflow signal. A little frog in my throat there. Now, there are other solutions to tuning your car, and a lot better solutions out there. But like I said, if you're on a budget, a regular computer chip just might be the thing for you. Now, if you're not on an extreme budget, and you want something a little bit better, using a piggyback computer system is really the best bang for your buck out there. Now, what these do is they not only interrupt, your mass airflow signal, but also a few other signals depending on the actual unit itself. But usually it's like mass airflow and your O2 sensors and map sensor if you have it. A lot of these will control the car's variable valve timing systems such as VTEC, MyVec, VVTI. And you can really get a lot more of a tune out of this type of system. Now, there are simple settings for these things, and you can just quickly program it and actually see some decent gains. But when you put something like that in your car, what it's really best to do is take it to a performance shop, have them stick it on a dyno, and have them tune it up. Tell them, hey, I'm going to be running only premium gas, and I want, my engine map to reflect that. I want it to get as much horsepower out of the simple mods that I have on it, and I'll be using this specific type of gasoline. So they can go ahead and make a more aggressive map and a more specific map based on your modifications. These things can even compensate for things like bigger fuel pumps, bigger fuel injectors, a better exhaust system, a better air intake system, things like that. So really, that's the best bang for your buck. And, that's definitely a name brand part you're going to want to buy too. Pepsi, Garetti, HKS, Super Chips, Venom. These are the kind of names that are pretty big out there, and, that's the kind of parts you're going to want to buy when it comes down to computer parts. Now, the next step above the piggyback system is a standalone unit. Now, the standalone computer system is for those of you who are very hardcore about your car. You want full tunability of every option on your car as far as performance-wise. That's going to give it to you. And it's going to give you the most horsepower out of your engine as far as tuning goes. Now, this is not the type of solution for somebody on a budget, because a standalone unit can cost anywhere from $1,200 to up to $3,000. That's a lot of money for just a computer. So, when you're looking into a tuning solution, you want to get the best for your money. So really, what you're going to be looking at is where's my budget and what are my goals. Because you know what, it might just be worth just saving up and getting the piggyback system. Or, you know, if you just want just a little bit of you just want to mod your car just a little tiny bit, you know, maybe just go ahead and get the computer chip and just, you know, wire it in. So, really, you got to look at what you want, what your goals are for your car, what you're going to be doing with your car, as far as that goes. And you also want to factor in, you know, tuning and things like that, as far as taking it to a shop and having them run it on a dyno and all that. And also, you know, when you're modifying your car, especially when you're getting down to the computer system, make sure everything's in proper working condition. Take it to a mechanic if you don't know what you're doing. Have them check everything out. Tell them, you know, I'm going to be modifying the car. I want to make sure everything's solid. What do I need to replace? What can be better? You know, spark plug wires, air filter, that kind of stuff. Your battery even. You know, making sure all your ground wires are nice and clean. And these are all, you know, things to take into consideration, making sure all your sensors are within spec. Even something as simple as your throttle position sensor can throw off a tune of a car and actually, you know, be taking away power from a car very, very easily. So, all stuff to keep in mind. But anyway, guys, why don't you leave me a comment in the section down below. Tell me what you thought about today's video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, let me know down there. While you're down there, hit like and subscribe, and I'll be talking more about more cars, and be talking about other performance parts and things like that. And I love your guys' questions. I like making videos after them. So, hey guys, I'm Rob, and I'm telling you guys to enjoy the drive.